So then we are back with more understanding from the time of the Second Tabernacle services, where we find in the Aramaic English translation of the word. This translation comes from the original manuscripts of the prophets of the Israelic lineage, so then we can understand the time of the end. Then, per Yeshayahu the prophet, we find ourselves during the time of the restoration, and then Mitchiyahu, the first recorder of the spring feast, then the 24th chapter, the time of reduction. So from the viewpoint of the simplicity, from the Creator's viewpoint, let's try to understand then the layer of the Gentiles as far as the economy and how it's going to play out per the Creator's agenda. Why do we then evaluate this situation as then with the simplicity? Because the Creator was never complicated. So then let's try to understand what it means, Daniel related with the Baal and the dragon. Let's understand what it means. Baal was the god of the Babylonians. When we begin our then quest of understanding religions of the world, most of them, they have some sort of lineage from the Babylonian system. So let's try to understand what it means when we introduce then China as then the world's leader of the market. Daniel the prophet explained regarding then the time of the end. At the second chapter you find then the base of the statue where iron does not mix with the clay. So we find then this area related with iron does not mix with the clay. Then you find the angel that spoke with Daniel regarding then the time of the end. Firstly, he said that knowledge would increase, and then previously people going to and fro. People going to and fro means confusion. It's related with a layer of understanding from 1009 to 2009, where then the holy cities were laid waste. Thus the understanding of a new world order. So during the time of the 1,000 years of deceit, whosoever was smart could take the lead. However, during this time, after 2009, the status have changed from deceit to the time of the dragon, time of precision. From the viewpoint of Daniel, then the politician, you find very easily he was a tradesperson. With whom should we then trace back related with trade? Ishmael. Ishmael was a person related with trade. Joseph was sold into slavery via then a caravan of the Ishmaelites. So then, understanding from the simplistic viewpoint, where then you layer this understanding with Ezekiel the 37th chapter, related with the two sticks. In Eastern culture, holding a stick, it's a symbol of authority. The two sticks relates with the Ishmaelites and Ethiopites, first son and the second son. The Hebrews, unfortunately, they scandalized the regular scripture because they want to make themselves so important, and they stole the rightful place of the Ishmaelites on our holy instructions. The 62nd chapter of Yeshayahu also provides understanding of the Ishmaelites, then the Creator restoring the first stick and their rightful place. So then, simplicity. Baal and the dragon. China is the dragon. There is no question. But then China has, for a long time, aware of its place in history. They knew from far away before they would be the leaders. So comes then the understanding of the instruction as we read then Daniel the 11th chapter, and then a couple of chapters later related then with Baal and the dragon. So let's understand what it means. there is a spiritual understanding of religions. Baal, Babylonian, and dragon, precision. We are talking about deceit, and we talk about also precision, related obviously with the truth. You can't have precision if you don't have the truth. So then let's understand the simplicity of it. 11th chapter relates then the Kingdom of the North, Soviet Union, Kingdom of the South, Africa. Then last month the Brics came together and they come up with a banking of their own, obviously Bank of China. We must be realistic because the Chinese system is going to provide the nations with a system where people can invest. So it is unwise using the US monetary system as their means of exchange. If they are smart and they have a shortwave radio at home, they can listen to the news of the Pacific related with 12 digits, people living over there, already warning investors of the US money and the US money market, or then the US stocks. They are urgently asking the people to be very cautious as far as investing in USA at the moment, because they are printing money indiscriminately, and it is always dangerous. So then comes the Brics. The leader of the Brics, the Soviet Union. Why it is repeated said Soviet Union? Because the 11th chapter of Daniel refers of the Soviet Union as then united people of the Northern Kingdom, and they are going to be greater than the previous. So let's try to understand. China has recognized its place in history. They understand they are the kingdom of the East. They understand their function as the factory of the world. They are the dragon. Couple more situations. We must understand the kingdom of the North as the planners, and the kingdom of the South as raw materials. So let's try to understand. They have a document over there with lots of blanks that they're trying to find out how to make this group of theirs making sense. Let's explore the understanding. Simplicity. Absolutely simplicity. We are not talking about computers at the moment. We are not talking about technology. We are talking about basic human trust and reliability. Simplicity. So then we find the Brics came together last month. They already have their bankings linked up. So then, Baal and the dragon. Factory is then obviously going to be protected. As we understand, the more the time goes by, the more dangerous people, unscrupulous people, scoundrels, they show up in the system. Europe is done. Europe is absolutely busted. The Eurozone is in shambles. It's not going to last for very long. Germany is already removing its golden deposits from US and also France. So if you can't link those points, then unfortunately we're retarded. So you can understand the very leader of the Eurozone is already taking the gold away from US and France. It's because the situation is not very nice. What is the indication? US then monetary system is going down, and then multiple expenses of the Eurozone. Germany is entangled. So forget Europe at the moment. But the Brics are the leaders of the world's market. So then, Bel and the dragon. What is Bel? Babylonian system. Then you have the dragon, absolutely precise. Then you have to understand a couple more kingdoms yet. Then playing the base of the statue. You find in the kingdom of the north, Soviet Union. Why? Because Daniel the 11th chapter gives then the status of the Soviet Union previously and then greater than the former. But then the friendship with China and the Soviet Union is very tight, very strong. China is socialist. But China is also requesting more energy. You know, it doesn't take much for a person to understand an exchange. Since the last visit of the Balians, you know, let's name the nations regarding Babylonian system and the like, and parts of it or not, big sections, tiny sections of the Babylonian system, let's name them the Balians. They went to China over there, and then shortly after they returned from China, then you find news in the media stating all China is going through financial crisis. It's absolutely BS and ridiculous. They go over there, they get envious because of the simplicity. Yet they come home and their system never works. So simplicity. In order to avoid these lies in the computer, lies on the internet, and try to put down countries got nothing to do with Balian system, China at some point is going to get tired of this. And the best way of filtering is making a deal with the Soviet Union in exchange for gas and petroleum. Interestingly, then the other countries simply, rather than going to China, then the Soviet Union, they do a bit of a filtering. They're not going to mix God and trade anymore, because the Soviets are very straightforward. So let's, for instance, understand our own country, USA. We are barely producing. The knowledge in a regular market sometimes is absolutely amazing. Last job I had, not even the manager of the store or then the place over there knew how to test the equipment. So we are living during times where the piece of paper gives you then the ability of becoming a PhD or some sort of person with a high rank, but then they forget simplicity. Working in a factory producing rechargers for the electric cars, the manager did not know how to put up a resistance test procedure. Now, there is a situation of being ignorant, but then learning. There is another situation as you have then a piece of paper in your hand that gives you the ability of management, and you are as stupid as a telephone pole. So then when to work, I was asking my friends over there, we are working together on equipment, and there was a recharger there with a problem. And I asked him, what do you do when there is a problem with these big machines? I always swap out boards. Wasn't expecting this kind of an answer. I was thinking, what about the resistance test? Do you do this first? They did not even know what it was. So for a moment I thought it was a joke. But then a few days later my coworker said, what is this resistance test you are talking about? Then I showed him the meter, and you know what he did? He placed then the selector of the meter on ohms times 1 and measured the continuity from a terminal of a cable to another. And then I had to step back and, are these people retarded? So then we are living during times where the technology complication is becoming so high in levels where the more PhD people have, the stupider they get. In order for a company then to become productive, you have to have the basic knowledge. And not only these, then people around, they were unaware of resistance test. And I see this place is replete with these people. They sit around in their cubicles playing around big shots, and they don't know how to test the equipment. And then from my co-workers I got that stare in the face, you know. What are you talking about? And I was thinking to myself, this place is retarded. Is this truly United States? And then a portion of the company would speak a language. Some of those workers did not even speak English. And then the supervisor over there walking around, you know, drinking and talking around and acting as a big shot. Stupid as a telephone pole. So how can a company then, because of a piece of paper, places a person in charge doesn't even know how to do the work? It was absolutely incredible. I thought it was a joke. So then he spoke with his friend over there in the testing department, and there it was, a stupid computer to test a recharger. So I glanced at it, and I then was thinking, these people don't even know how to do the basics. They are so high technological, and they don't understand the principle. The first understanding that comes when a person is working with a tri-phase unit, you have to have a tri-phase variac. You work with the voltage of the input and you control then the output. Then you place a load at the end of it, make sure the equipment recharges. And then you can let it recharge for 5 hours overnight. And you monitor the voltage, the amperage, and make sure the unit works. Simple. And then the people who were around, they would swap boards. And I asked him, but don't you have a copy of the resistance test of the equipment? Had no clue what I was talking about. So then I stepped down, you know. So do you have then the information from the electronic boards? Oh no, the company told us not to play around with those. Well, nobody's saying playing around with the board. I was asking regarding, do you have the resistance test of the board? Didn't even know what it was. So then I had to come to the corner over there. I had to grab the meter in my hand and show him, you place the negative lead on the frame of the recharger. And then the points of interest of the board, depending on how you set the unit to start up with, not energized. You have to have a certain value of reading on your own meter. They didn't get the information yet. So I had to come home. Then I got my Drake radio equipment resistance test. You know, radio equipment of the past with tubes. Well, bring it to work. Never in my life. I was not born in this country. And in fact, the place where I came from was mostly based upon American manuals. So when I went to work for this American company, I thought they were joking. And then I was hired because the company was going through some turnaround because they had obviously lost a big customer. No wonder. They place in charge people with a so contaminated mindset of grandiosity because of a stupid piece of paper, and they don't know how to do the work. Computers, software computers. Does not even have to use computer. It was absolutely incredible. So then, simplicity. We understand then China is the kingdom of the East, there is the kingdom of the North, Soviet Union, and kingdom of the South. Because the prophecy states then the kingdom of the North becomes then higher than the previous. Then is the work of the Soviet Union to re-earn their title and begin to work with South Africa and to help them discover they are the kingdom of the South. And via simplicity, because what's coming in the very near future is then flares of the earth. Freighters of the earth forward, and the governments simply lining up with them. The governments are there, but because of the new system coming and labeling, they have to start charging taxes. So the situation during this time where we've entered the Creator's agenda, it is always simple. So you find the factory of the world providing a system where every person can be a banker, investor, purchaser at the same time. Then you have the kingdom of the North filtering through the Balian system. And then the kingdom of the South providing raw materials. At least the starting of the system, and then later the rest of the world will join them. As far as America, lots of self-importance, but not much of work. This place is not what it used to be, not even 10 years ago. The lack of knowledge is absolutely, in quote, astronomical. So using US monetary system as it is extremely unwise. That's why the 12 digits over there in the Pacific, they are warning the people. And they got rid of their US stocks. This country is not incapable, but it's badly managed. They focused for so long in self-importance, grandiosity, of the point of giving certificates to these managers, and they don't know how to do the job. So the reason why the Kingdom of the North is going to become great is because of its simplicity. It's simple. So then, China then, extremely busy for quite some time, they can give it over, the planning section of it, at least the basic filtering. Making sure deals, for instance, of new equipment, new production, is backed up by banking, by their own banking, obviously, because they are united under their own banking. Do the paperwork, make sure they have the raw materials properly, transportation, and so on and so forth. And China simply receives the piece of paper with the deal already in motion. Simplicity. Let's get busy then, huh?